name's Andrea Beaver, and I wanted to have a fun time with you working on a really neat bracelet idea. I've used this on a couple of my own bracelets, and I just love these tulip bead caps. And I thought, hey, we could have a good time today making a bracelet, wire wrapping some beads to come out of the tulip bead and have just a really nice bracelet with different colors together. This one brings a lot of bronze and gold and green tones with it. And we could do a little bit of wire wrapping as well as beading. So I thought we'd have a good time making this bracelet. Again, thanks for joining me today. We'll have shopping links at the bottom of the screen. And if there's anything that you're looking for, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the Art Beads team or myself. And you can find everything on artbeads.com. And if you complete this project and you want to share it online, Art Beads also has a Facebook group. You're more than welcome to join and share your projects, or you can share them on social media and tag me in it. I'd love to see what you make. And if you're not able to catch today's live, you can watch us on the replay. And if you have a comment, I can only view them on artbeads.com. So feel free to tune in there and catch us. And we also have a replay available on YouTube as well. And hi, everybody. Hi, thank you so much for joining. And feel free to ask any questions while I'm demonstrating. We're all here to have a good time and learn. And thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to pause the show and tilt my phone down and we'll get started. And I have my project ready to go here. So for time, I went ahead and pre-wire wrapped some of the glass I'll be using. And I will demonstrate how I wire wrap on the ball head pin as well, but I thought it could take about 20 minutes to do that. So I wanted to pre-wire wrap some of them. So I'll be working with this really fun green patina. There's no sound. Can you guys hear me okay? I don't know how to adjust the sound. Okay. Okay. Well, some people can hear me, so I'm going to go ahead. Okay. So I'm starting with this really fun patina Dragonfly. And we will be using this later on here a little bit into the bracelet. So what I'm going to start with is using round nose pliers, and I'm going to take the tail and I'm going to bend up the end carefully just a little bit, and then I'm going to round it and flip it around here with my round nose pliers. I'm going to form a loop. That way it can join a jump ring through here, and we're going to put this on the bracelet. So this is a technique that I use for the Dragonfly and my other bracelets, is I just curl in the end and that forms a loop. And then it's a great centerpiece for a necklace or bracelet as well. And I'm so glad you guys can hear me now. I am so glad. That's good to know. So the first thing I do when I'm making a bracelet is I am using Beadalon 49 wire, or the 7-strand wire. And I'm going to grab my wire, and I'm using the #1 crimp bead. And I use the round ones, just my preference. And then, oh, okay. Yeah, it's for whatever reason, when I tilt my camera down, it cuts out the audio. So now I have to pause it and move it. I'm hopefully going to get a new phone. Okay. So then I take my wire and I go through a wire guard or wire protector. I'm using a 3mm one. You know, I use a 3 or 4mm depending on what's available. They're pretty close in size. And I'm going to pull my wire through, and you want your wire to sit nice and like in the center here of this little groove that's at the top of the wire guard. And I prefer wire guards because they help protect the wire as you're wearing the piece from fraying or from, it helps the wire last longer. And then I also pinch the ends together here so they're a little bit closer, like so. And when you have it on there, you want to have enough room between the base of the wire guard and the top of your crimp for your tool to get in there and pinch down. on the crimp. If it's too close, you don't want to accidentally pinch the end of the wire guard and snap it or crack the metal. So you just need a little bit of space for your tool to get in there. And I'm using the bead along crimp tool, and I just go in there and crunch it down once, and then I rotate it over onto its side, and I do it again. And then that'll give you, oh, we can add that. I'm sorry I left it off. You want to have like a really neat hamburger look here that just shows it's pinched together. And then just in case before you do anything else, I do like a little bit of a wire pull to make sure that it's on there nice and secure. And then I use my wire cutters and I trim off the excess wire. And I add a crimp cover. And they do have wire guards. Sorry, I left them off the list. They'll post it here in just a second. And then I go over the entire crimp with the crimp cover, and I just kind of gently press down with my tools around the crimp cover and round it as I'm going. So you don't want to press too hard. You don't want to smash it. You just want them kind of touch in the middle and overlap just a little bit like so. And then you'll have a nice rounded crimp cover, which covers up your crimp and helps keep it on there a little bit more securely. They should have a wait list for crimps available, and I think they also will email you a reminder when they come in stock. So I have this ready to go, and what I did is I went online and just kind of was like perusing what beads they have to kind of match. So I found these really cool glass beads. They're like a melon shape, and they have a really nice like transparent with also green and a gold pattern, which matches the green dragonfly almost perfectly. So I thought that was like a fun thing that happened. Wire guards, they should have them in different colors available on the website. I'm not sure what they have in stock right off the top of my head, but I think they have them in gold and bronze and copper. And so I thought these would match together really, really well. So I kind of picked those out and thought, okay, what else should I pair with it? Because I wasn't quite sure as I was piecing together how I wanted to do it. And then I found this green, green turquoise, green jasper, African turquoise, it's different names. And I thought, okay, I'm going to put this off to the side if I wanted to mix a stone in with it. And you have a nice selection of greens kind of throughout. So it really depends on what you're looking for. You don't have to mix these in. You can just use these ones. And then I also wanted to use like a daisy spacer bead. So here's kind of like everything I have laid out for this bracelet idea as I was piecing it together. And then I found this fun dragonfly, which matches this one. They are sold out of it, but I do have a link for the dark brown dragonfly that you can mix in, and it will match the bead cap, and it'll all still color coordinate really well. So the first thing I did was I got this going, and I'm just going to piece together some beads here, and I'm just going to kind of free design while we're all here together, because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do when I started this. But I was thinking I want to do part stone and part glass, and then just separate it out with a spacer bead. I thought they were really pretty too. They're great for, all different seasons like spring, summer, and I just love the gold and the green together. I thought it was really pretty. But, kind of doing this, I think I just want to do these guys. And depending on how long you want your bracelet, you'll want to measure it to make sure you have enough space for your needed length. So, for example, if you're going to do a 7-inch bracelet, you'll need less than an 8-inch bracelet. So you might have to switch up the pattern a little bit. But usually for a 7.5-inch bracelet, you want to have about 4 inches to 5 inches worth of beadwork here. You want to leave 1 inch for your clasp. Oh, I'm sorry, Robin. Will the tint green be, yeah, that's a good question. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to need, also I'm using this as a clasp. It's a textured bronze clasp. It is by TerraCast. I love their clasps. They're amazing. Let's put that there. So right about there, we have almost 4 inches. So as you're going along, you might want to double check how long you want your bracelet for your desired length. That way, when you get to the end, it isn't too long or too short. But for me, I'm thinking this is a good length. So I'm going to add 4 of the glass beads and a spacer bead. And then what I'm going to do is add a smaller bead cap. This is a really nice one too. It's vintage. Let me have a close up there. And I like to use the smaller bead caps before I put on the larger one because it kind of helps cover up the hole and decorates it a little bit more. Oh, thank you, Anne. I love those Dragonfly bracelets. I think they're so fun. I just love carrying that idea over. So that way this bead cap it's the same metal type, so it will match perfect, but it also helps cover up the large piece here and just kind of makes it a little bit more decorative. And one thing I've discovered when I use these beads is there's a large space on the inside. So whenever I'm working with it, I fill in the center hole. Thank you so much, Lori. Really appreciate it. I like to fill in the center hole with spacer beads. Usually I use larger ones, but I'm using, in this case, pumpkin ones. And they do, I think melon or pumpkin, they do have a lot of spacer beads available on artbeads.com as well. And then I just kind of fill in the space a little bit before I add beads, so that way this doesn't fill up with all my wire wrapped beads, because you want these to mostly sit on just a little bit on the inside, so it looks they're coming out kind of like a flower, but then the majority of them will sit out this way. And so you could do this as a bracelet. Now that's a cute idea. The other idea I think I was going with was just mixing up glass with the stones and kind of like incorporating like different colors of green. And you can also do it different patterns, like so. That way, if maybe you don't want too much gold on it too, you can mix it up with the darker stone color and then add that. Yeah, actually that's not bad. Okay, I'm gonna go with this. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to go here with my spacer bead. I'm going to add this bead cap back on this guy. So that's like another design idea that you could do. So you could do either one, whichever one you prefer. I love the dragonflies. They're so fun, especially this time of year in the summertime. We see lots of dragonflies flying around and butterflies. So it's fun to see both of those out and about. Okay, so I have my middle filled in here with some spacer beads with just a small gap on the inside. And I'm going to start adding these. Now I've pre-wire wrapped 25. These are 4mm. So again, you can pick more or less depending on how much you want to add. I feel like 25 is a good number to fill in the space on the bracelet. Being a 4mm size glass, you don't need as many. However, if you want to have more dangles, you can add as many as you want. Oh, that is really cool, Kat. You call your Jeep Dragonfly? That is awesome. I like that. So I'm going to add these on to the strand like this, and they might move around a little bit. However, when you're finished, everything on there is wire wrapped nice and tight, so it won't jingle too much. They'll mostly just kind of sit. You kind of want to maneuver these around a little bit. They'll kind of sit in here. Now, how I wire up these is I'm using gold ball head pins and the glass, and I slide it down to the end like so. And I use my round nose pliers, and they go just over the top of the glass bead, so you have enough space to hold your coils as you're going around. For right now, I'm using 25, but you can add as many as you want. The strand, I think, comes with 40 beads on it, so you could use them all. And when I'm wire wrapping, so I have my round nose pliers holding the ball head pin, and I have just a small gap between the top of my round nose pliers and the top of the glass. And I take my wire and I fold it over the outside barrel so it looks like this. And then I take my round nose pliers and I kind of rotate them up. I'm not sure if it's like 45-degree angle, but I rotate them up. And I bring my wire back on the outside of the barrel and I go around. So this forms your top loop. And then if you want, you can hold it and use your tools, or I just sometimes use my hands too and bring it around like so to make my coils. And then I cut off my excess wire. And then I use my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to gently press these in and press the back down. So that way the wire I just cut is pressed down and it's hiding kind of underneath. So I'm trying to get my hands out of the way. It's hiding underneath the coil so you don't have that raw wire exposed so it doesn't catch on anything. And you just want to gently kind of press it down. So that way your coils are nice and flat and they're stacked on top of each other like a ring. And then also the wire that you just cut is hiding kind of tucked in underneath the back. So that way you don't have any raw wire exposed. And then you have your loop on your guy. There you go. And then you can just slide it on the wire and there you go. So I just love this technique of having the wire wrapped beads coming out of the tulip cap. I think it's a lot of fun. So for this one, when you finished, you want to leave a little bit of space on the wire so that way these are not too tight and stacked up like this. I just leave a little bit of room so they can kind of spread out a little bit. And also it gives everything enough room to bend into a form, of a circle. If the wire's too tight, sometimes it's going to lock up like this and it won't bend very easy. So I just give it a little bit of space to loosen up. And I'm going to add my crimp. And again, I use a wire guard like so. And sometimes this is a little tricky because as you're working, I'm just going to pull this down. As you're working, sometimes the beads like to flop all over the place or try to get away from you. So I just kind of pinch everything down in one spot and pull the wire down like so. And then I pull up my crimp again, pretty close to being underneath the wire guard. Sorry, let me do a close up there. And enough room for my tool to get in between the crimp, the wire guard, and not pinch down on the cluster. So you have a little bit of room between each. You don't want to have too much room on the wire because you don't want these to spread out too thin where you're going to have wire gap coming through. So you'll just want enough so that way your beads can kind of flow a little bit, but they're also not too loose. It's like finding a happy medium. And then I'm going to go in here with my my crimper and crimp down again. And then cut off the excess wire. And then add a crimp cover. And I really like crimp covers because they hide everything and they also look like they're spacer beads. They blend in with your beadwork really well. And crimp that down. So here you have the base of the majority of your bracelet ready to go. So next we're going to introduce the Dragonfly. Have these guys bump out of the way for right now. So how I attach this is I use a heavy gauge stump ring. I'm using a 6mm one. And I go through the top ring and I attach it onto the wire guard like so. And you'll need 2 heavy gauge stump rings at the base of your Dragonfly before you attach your clasp. I also like to use this section to attach charms and dangles that you might wire up if you wanted to have more beads on here. And for this one, I wanted to add the little dragonfly here. I wanted it to come off this way. And the other thing is, with the leftover glass, you can also wire up some more of these to have a charm on the clasp too. And oh, hi Dominique, I'm so glad you're here. You just popped into my head and there you are. Yay! You could also use this as a necklace design too. I have a similar idea for a necklace that I do with the dragonfly, where feel free to check it out. I have the tail here, and I have, pretend this is this way. I actually have it like this, except for the dragonfly comes up, and I use this as a necklace, and then I have it beaded up and around. So like this part drapes down as a necklace with the dragonfly up top. So you could do a lot of different things with this. You could also use this for earrings. This is light enough to where you could use this bead cap with some stuff coming out of it and turn that into a large earring, or you could just use the dragonfly itself for an earring. So these are light enough pieces where you could separate these out, you know, take a dragonfly, have a couple of the glass clusters on the base and turn it to an earring. I mean, there are lots of different, you could do an entire jewelry set with just buying one piece of each to make this, like one strand of beads, one strand of glass, and grab a couple of the different bead caps, and you could have a whole jewelry collection, and then they would all mix and match. All right, this guy. So that's one nice thing is by buying an entire strand of glass, you can get multiple projects out of it. You know, a pair of earrings, maybe 2 bracelets and a necklace, depending on how you want to bead everything up. So you could get a lot of projects from these guys. And I'm going to attach this one on. So I'm just making some cute little charms to add. Little extra decoration here. And I love this little dragonfly. I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, it's perfect because it matches this one. So if you wanted to, they also have the just brown dragonfly like this one, which matches the bead cap. It's called the Queen Dragonfly. So you could purchase the Queen dragonfly with the smaller one and the matching bead cap and do a bracelet like that as well. So there's, again, lots of different design options available on artbeads.com, where you can make a variety of jewelry pieces and do a whole collection. And how I attach my clasp is I'm going to do the tail on this end. The reason why I do the tail on the end without the charms is because when you're clasping the bracelet, sometimes this portion gets tangled up with the charms and it's hard to take the bracelet on and off because there's just more stuff in the way. So I like to move it to the opposite end because it's a little bit easier to clasp if you're using charms as a decoration. And so the other thing I should mention is how the dragonfly lays. Oh, I'm sorry you have a migraine. I hope you feel better soon. Is it comes up this way and underneath. So if you want your bracelet to lay flat on your wrist, you have to have 2 rings to bring it down. Otherwise, it will want to lay like this. So you have your dragonfly flat. Then you have a ring, which is going to open up this way, and you'll need another ring going this way, which will connect to your clasp. That way, everything will lay flat on your wrist. So when you're making your bracelet, you'll need to leave an extra ½ inch for both rings in length and less beadwork. Otherwise, your bracelet will be too long when you go to attach everything together. All right, come on. And I'm going to close this one. Hi, Debbie. I'm so glad to have you here. Welcome. That's awesome. It's your first time. Just to go over it really quick, if you have any questions, feel free to send an email to artbeads.com or post a message or a comment. Also, all shoppable links are at the bottom of the video, and feel free to post any creations that you make with us and tag us online. Thanks, Robin. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. So, okay, so we have the 2 charms, again, you can add some, not add some. I just thought it'd be fun to kind of decorate up the base of the Dragonfly before it meets the clasp. And then coming around this way, we're going to add the toggle bar. So this is also a great way to add length to your bracelet. If you're coming to the end and it's too short, you can just add a couple rings to extend it. It's about 1/4 inch per ring at 6 millimeters. So it gives you a little bit more length to kind of mess around with. So here is the bracelet finished. And I just think it's so cute. So here's an idea. Again, you have your little charms. You have your tulip bead cap with your dangles coming out of it, and you have the different beads. And, you know, if you didn't want to add the stones, you can just do the glass along the side like so. So that's a different bracelet idea as well. So since you have these extra beads to work with, we could just create a pair of earrings right now while we're all hanging out, because we would have leftover beads to work with. So I'm going to use 2 of the ball head pins, and I'm going to use 2 pieces of glass. So, and some of the spacer beads. So what else you could do with your leftover fire polish glass? I come up with an idea here. See, I just think this is such pretty glass. Look right there, like that's almost a base of an earring all by itself. So you could do this. If you wanted to have like a really quick basic earring, there you go. However, we're not here to do basic today. We're going to make things extra complicated so we have a really cool pair of earrings. So I'm going to wire wrap this guy with a loop at the top. I'm going to do some connecting bead work, I think. So we're going to take some glass beads, the glass melon here, and wire wrap it like so on both of them, because we want these earrings to match the bracelet. Yeah, we're going to make it look cool. We're going to do this. There we go. I mean, if you have the extra beads, again, why not make a whole collection, do a necklace, bracelet, and some earrings to match? All right, so we're going to do this. And I want to wire up those as a cluster. So we're going to do some more of these guys to match the bracelet. So again, I'm just going to take a few minutes here to wire wrap some of these. Oh, thanks, Georgine. I really appreciate it. And hi, Denise. I'm so glad you're here. And thank you. I really appreciate the wire wrap compliment. That's nice. Thank you. I love wire wrapping. I've been doing this for a long time. It's great. It's great therapy. So I'm thinking, I'm not sure how many specific glass beads come on a strand. So that will help, unless you buy multiple strands, that'll kind of tell you what you can. I don't like that one. How many numbers you have to work with. I don't like that one either. Okay, here we go. Okay, these ones are going to work. I should point out too, I'm using 24 gauge. For the fire polish glass, and it's a 4 millimeter, I'm using 24 because it's easier to wire wrap with. If you go any thicker, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, and it might break the glass because it's going to be too thick. So you want to either use a 24 or 26 if you can't find 24. Isn't that cute? That little baby dragonfly is so adorable. I just saw it when I was putting this bracelet idea together. I loved it. I was like, oh, I have to have those. I think they would be fantastic also to incorporate with a pair of earrings as like little charms on the bottom. It's maybe almost an inch. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm thinking I could do 4. So I'm going to do 2 on each side. When I'm making dangles for earrings, it's different every time depending on what I'm working with. So you can either do 2 or 3 on each side. And it also depends on how you want to have them cascade down. So like if you want to have them come down this way, you might need more, or go back to front and side to side, you might have a little bit less or more depending on what you're looking for on your earring. So I think for this one, I'm just going to do 4 like this. Yeah, that would work. Or maybe 6. How much glass do I have? Yeah, I have enough glass. Just getting one of these strands of glass is really great. You can do multiple projects with these for just a couple dollars, and they're really pretty, and they're really good quality glass. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, if you have not signed up for the Bead Fest, there's still time to get tickets. It's in a couple of weeks. It's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. You'll hang out with us and the Art Beads team. It'll be fun. And we're also going to be doing a special like beads and bubbles where you can hang out with us for a little bit and have a glass of champagne if you like, with some hors d'oeuvres, and we could kind of talk about beading and just chill and hang out. So that'll be fun too. If you're joining Bead Fest, then that will be something we'll be doing there as well. So it's kind of like hanging out, talking about beads. If you go to Bead Fest, we'll be doing multiple projects during the time there, and you'll get to meet and hang out with all of us. So that will be lots of fun. I mean, who doesn't want to meet and talk about beads? Okay, so since I'm using primary gold here, I'm going to tap out. So we'll have to add this to the list. I'll be using, sorry it's not preloaded on there because this is kind of off the cuff. I'll be using 4mm gold jump rings. Sorry, Michelle, she'll have to add that to the list. Yeah, it's a ways from California. Yeah, I live in Washington, so it's like going almost across the country for me, but I've never been to Pennsylvania before, so I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun to go see the area and go visit. Thank you. So for this one, I'm just going to use a small jump ring and attach. You can do, I think I can do two on each side. If not, I'll have to use a bigger one. Let me see. Oh, no, I think that'll work. Might need a 6, but I know the 4 will work. All right, so here we go. So I'm starting to build an earring here with some charms on the top, which will match your bracelet perfectly. And I think that'll be a fun design too. And they're super lightweight. So if some people maybe don't like earrings, or if they're not used to it, this is a great way to make a pair of earrings for yourself or as a gift. And they're lightweight. So, and they're colorful and pretty. Oh, they have ice cream. Oh, now you're speaking my language. I will totally be checking that out. I'll have to get the name of the ice cream place from you and partake of some. Okay, there we go. So I need to have one more. So I think for each pair of earrings, thank you so much for posting the jump rings. I'm going to do, okay, so 4, 5, 6. So I'll be doing 8 pieces of glass dangles for each earring. So that'll be pretty. You know, that's a good idea. Maybe they can tackle California someday. Come here. So a tip whenever I'm adding these to earrings, I go in between the earrings and grab the center of the jump ring like so. So that way they fall on each side and they're divided, and the jump ring that I'm adding helps keep them in that place. That way they don't all stack up on one side. And they move around a little bit. So here I'm going to add these. And also, if you want to thin them out more, you can have a jump ring in the middle before you combine them. That way it's not stacking too heavy with clusters. Or if you want them right on top of each other, then you could do it this way. So if you experiment, there's a couple different ways of adding clusters that create some really neat different designs with them. Or they'll go flying off everywhere and be like, no. That's okay, I got you. Sometimes it's hard for me to do this when I'm out front in front of me like this, to close these guys down. All right, where'd the other one fly off to? There it is. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to grab an ear wire. So you will also need a ear wire. And artbeads.com has a lot of amazing ear wires in all different metal colors, from gold and copper and bronze and silver and sterling silver. They have a large assortment of ear wires. So I'm going to use a French style gold ear wire. And again, you want to look for the top jump ring in the center in between your clusters here. Where'd you go? Oh, there we go. Okay, I got them separated out like so. You can also add another jump ring if you want to have more space, or just take it, kind of slide your ear wire on like so, and pinch down. And then you have a cute pair of earrings. Like, how cute are those? That is awesome. They're adorable, and they match your bracelet perfect. Check that out. Seriously, these are cute. Like, I'd wear these, and I think that's fun. So you have a cute pair of earrings to go with your bracelet. And then if you did grab some extra dragonflies, you could always use this with like a connector wire instead, like one of these bad boys. And then add a dragonfly at the base and make them longer earrings. So like right off the top, I'm already come up with some cool ideas. So yeah, you could take the small dragonfly, let's say, add it to the bottom of your earring. That's a cute earring idea too. Yeah. So there's a lot you can do with these beads, and make a collection for yourself of like a bracelet, earrings, and necklace. So again, here's an earring idea, and here's the finished bracelet. I'm going to hold that up close so you can see it like so. So you have your dragonfly, the other dragonfly, glass charm. You have your wire wrapped dangles coming out of your tulip bead, the extra smaller bead cap. And then you have your beads around, and you have your clasp. Like, how fun is that? I love this idea. And again, thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. And I love the patina too. It's a really nice green color of patina. It just matches the glass and everything so well. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to anybody at Art Beads or myself. I'm available on Facebook and Instagram. And artbeads.com also has a Facebook group if you wanted to join and post anything you make from our lives. And if you have any questions, feel free to email the team or ask me or whatever. And if you weren't able to make today's live, hopefully you'll catch us on the replay. And thank you so much for being here. It was so great to have you, and have a great rest of your day.